Today, we're looking at the top 3 reasons why Bitcoin could set a new all-time high for 2024. And number 3 is my favorite reason. And guys, you're going to want to stick around for that for sure. Number 1, we have, will Gary Gensler step down? You see more and more crypto publications, they've had it up to here with Gary Gensler, more and more calls for him to get fired. Well, will it happen? Well, we're looking at some key reasons why it could possibly happen. Number 1, we see a Republican victory could lead to a new administration. We get a new administration, this could be significant changes at the SEC, and this is where Gary Gensler is employed, and this is where he's, wielding the baton against crypto companies. And some would say, he's taken it a little too far. Well, on the other side, it's not just Republicans. There's growing discontent amongst the Democrats regarding, his job and what he's done for the SEC in the meantime. However, a change in leadership, whether it's due to him stepping down or being replaced, will be a shift towards a more crypto-friendly regulatory environment. I would expect a very, very big, green, juicy candle the day that Gary Gensler steps down. So that is some news to keep an eye out for. But also, should he be succeeded by a leader more open to crypto, then we could have a precedent that could influence international regulatory trends. And you might ask yourself, well, what does America have to do with international trends? What would Gary Gensler, being replaced by someone a little more crypto-friendly, how would that change EU? How would that change, Singapore? Well, we have a unrelated photo right here. So don't, that's totally unrelated. That is, some would say that's why, folks. That's all I'm going to say there. All right, reason number 2, Bitcoin could set a new all-time high in 2024. More institutional adoption. We're seeing recent bullish sentiment around spot Bitcoin ETF filings, folks. We've been covering this very, very closely. And we've been looking at Eric Balchunas mostly, and he's been exposing the secret meetings BlackRock, Grayscale, some of these other ETF managers have been having with the SEC. Looks like BlackRock and Grayscale kind of leading the way right now. Who can clock the most SEC meetings? Looks like BlackRock kind of leading the way, folks. And don't forget, BlackRock's ETF filing success rate, 575 to 1. So most are saying, hey, that's a clear indication BlackRock is going to get the green light for this. So I would keep an eye out on that. And I'm not betting against BlackRock getting approval there, folks. The approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF would allow regulated investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin, which may result in billions of dollars of increased demands. Now it can be on 401ks. Now grandma can buy it without having to take a tax hit. And this is going to be very, very attractive. So I expect billions upon billions pouring this market. Some say 100 billion. We'll keep an eye out on that number as well. But it's not just the money coming in. We would get a snowball effect from that. The snowball effect, we're going to get better trading infrastructure, better contracts and clearing houses, which would improve liquidity and reduce trading costs, which would then spur more demand. There's better liquidity. There's not as bad trading costs. But that would increase more demand, which would then increase the price, which would then increase more demand. It's just a nice positive feedback loop. So I'm really, really bullish on the Bitcoin ETFs. Eric Balchunas, he has it at 90% approval odds. And if you're wondering, he's the senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. So him and James Seifert, they've been covering this pretty extensively. I'm kind of leaning with them. They're saying January 10th will be the last day, if it's going to happen in January. After that, it'd probably be in March. The January ETF, maybe it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I expect some very, very long-term bullish action, maybe even short-term for the next couple of weeks before we would see a pullback, because more and more money is going to pour into Bitcoin. More and more traditional investors will hear about this Bitcoin ETF, and then they'll start reallocating maybe 1% to Bitcoin, 2% to Bitcoin, maybe even reducing gold, silver, put that towards digital gold. Not digital silver, sorry, Litecoin holders. I kid, we like Litecoin. All right, after that, with the increased institutional demand, we see that. We got the better liquidity, the better trading costs. Then we got number 3, which is the Bitcoin halving, everybody. We're very, very big on a 4-year cycle. I'm still a strong believer in 4-year cycle, kind of being the strongest catalyst for price. And then you include Fed cuts, which other people would say is the strongest catalyst for price. Historically, these halving events reduce the reward for mining new blocks, which then leads to a decrease in the supply of new Bitcoins, which then creates a supply shock. If we just pull it up on the chart right here, I'm going to pull up the weekly. You can see every single time we get a halving, typically up and to the right. We get a halving up and to the right. We got a halving very high up and to the right. The next one's Supposed to happen around April, say around the middle of April. It is this vertical line right here. Will we get another up and to the right? I'm leaning more closely to yes than no. I mean, here's another chart. This is the Litecoin halving. Okay, I don't want to just dog on Litecoin super hard. So even Litecoin will, experience a little bit of pump from the Bitcoin halving. That one was for you, Tom Crown. I hope you are paying attention here. All right, so we get the supply shock. We get that, from the reduction of supply, which will lead, in a relatively small jump in demand. Because of speculation around the ETF approval is all it will take to drive Bitcoin's momentum higher. Like we said, it's going to happen around April 24. The predictive markets are looking at a March 24 rate cut. If these two events collide, we're looking at a perfect storm for Bitcoin's price. They're saying, we're looking at a 60% increase, I believe is the number they're saying. 60% increase. Let's go ahead and pull this up on the charts here. We go ahead and pull it up to today's price action. We go up about 60%, and you can see that has us right flirting with the all-time high levels. Will we get an all-time high in 2024? If you would have asked me a year ago, things were a little bearish. I would have said, I don't know. We might have to wait till 2025. I'm feeling more and more likely we're going to see a $70,000 Bitcoin in 2024. What do you think Bitcoin's price can go in 2024? 72 bullish? Is that too bearish? Can we hit 100K? Are we going to reverse at 69K? Let us know down in the comments. We'll be checking those out. I'll be going through the comments for the first hour after this video is released, replying to all of them. So let us know down below. Where will Bitcoin go? That's all we got. And hey, let's all do this together and watch our portfolio grow. I'm DZ for Discover Crypto. I'll see you at the top.